So I prototyped three very different Odyssey plans, some from a romanticized idea of working on Wall Street or being a chef at a Michelin restaurant. But ultimately, I ended up picking an Odyssey plan, which is a mix between the plan that actually inspired me to start my MBA and my current role. So the first part of the plan based around Wall Street was I really enjoy reading about companies and understanding how they go through their business development process. And the second part is I've learned all these new tools through the MBA, and I want to put those tools into functional practice in my current role to facilitate the growth of my department. Um, so there's some of these skills that I've learned through the MBA program that I would fashion into this conglomerate of ideas were things that I didn't actually think I would enjoy when I first started the MBA program. I'm a chemist by trade, so I'm very scientific thinking. But some of the courses I enjoyed the most were like marketing, which is something completely different. Although very interestingly, the marketing aspect had so much science in it. I think that's what surprised me the most and what I enjoyed about it the most. So being able to take some of the marketing, some of the business strategy plans, and putting that into trying to grow my department, which is fairly small and young right now, into a impactful department within Medtronic is something I'm very much looking for trying to develop, and as well as my career, but the department itself. So as far as the personal biases and fallacies that we talked about in weeks 2 and 3, you know, I'll be perfectly honest. The biggest bias I had was I thought being a businessman was going to be fairly simple. And as my master's program in chemistry was more challenging than this, I will be honest. However, the totality of working in business is much more challenging than what I anticipated when I first started. Having to pull from so many different disciplines, from marketing, as I mentioned, to finance, to worrying about foreign exchange rates, to interest rates, to leadership, to managing people, as well as programs, creates a lot of different stresses in a day, where as a chemist, you're generally working through your chemist problems. You don't have a lot of those other problems you have to work through. So that was something when I reflect upon it that I humbly admit that I was wrong about. So some of the strengths that were brought forward to me when I did the high five test were things that I was subconsciously kind of aware of already. Self-believer, which to me just is another way of saying confident, as well as what deliverer. I really like to finish projects. Once I start something, I really just can never give up on it, no matter how much I don't like it. And the last one, I was unaware of this word, but philomath is a person that loves to learn things. And that's basically been my modus operandi since I started school in elementary. I've always liked going to that next course and starting something new that I'd never been part of before. I think those things lend themselves really well to the Odyssey plan, because as I try to go through the different operating units that are within Medtronic, like I have to learn the different ways that that operating unit operates, as well as different people, what the devices do. They're all very, very different. So these are things that play very well into my strengths. And as far as my personal branding goes, I've been a manager for a long time now, but I always considered myself a manager of chemistry, where I think I've been pivoting since I started this program to being a business manager. So managing the departments as a businessman versus just managing chemistry, which I think is more fruitful for a long-term career, because I won't be pigeonholed into just managing chemistry, but I'll be able to apply that in any type of department. If I was to run an engineering department or a sales department or something very different than chemistry, I think I would also be successful taking my mind off of strictly science, but then running it as a business. And so that's how I've been trying to brand myself for the last couple of years. I think it's been fairly successful, and I think that's how my team actually sees me as well. And then reflecting upon um, my plan to pursue. So my first plans of being a Michelin star chef or being an investment broker were quite lofty, weren't really grounded in things that I was were my core strengths, and would ultimately required me to start over again. And that's something that I don't think really I want to do, is start from the bottom and work my way back up to the top. Not that I couldn't, but not that I don't really have that drive to start all over again. So really this plan fits my mold to be able to, rather than start over, but pivot and create something new, so something that's needed within my department in order to help us grow. So that's ultimately where the decision came from, was to lean into what I already know well, and try to strengthen it and add some new things that I learned at the MBA program. So the last call to action, what I think ultimately I need to do, is meet people that do those other things already. So not have to learn things from scratch, not try to repeat things that have already been established, but learn from people that have done it before me. And so that I can take what they've done and leverage that and repeat that and maybe improve it. But who knows? Maybe I just repeat it and am successful that way. So either way, best of luck to everybody. Congratulations on being done, and hope you all have very fruitful careers. Thank you.